I
I'm
bled.
just
I
a
bled
floating
for
head.
30 years in this industry.
Yeah,
I have
so
some
that you
things to
can
say.
answer all the things, and I just set you up. That's what
You're
we
the
are.
future. I'm giving
I
you
throw the
knowledge.
beautiful alley-oop pass.
I'm giving you
You
knowledge. No, I
barely
give
get
you
it
great
over the
stuff too.
rim. You rim
You give
praise
all
it.
sorts of amazing insights from your time as a sales leader. What an episode we have today. The question is, why do we still do free estimates in a world where nothing is free? Today we're going to break out some of the misnomers, some of the thoughts around free estimates in the home services industry. Today in Trades is brought to you by BidClips, our sponsor. They make this happen. If you have questions about BidClips, you want to know more, go to bidclips.com. I'm here with Caleb Shordsma, my cohort and Ramble monitor. Caleb, how you doing today?
Great, Jim. How are you?
I'm awesome. I'm excited about today's episode. I think it's a hot topic for all of us in the industry who are just up to our eyeballs in work, and our technicians are busy, and we're still running around doing free estimates. Today, we're going to talk about how free isn't free anymore. We have limited technicians. Customer expectations are changing, and the ease and willingness of people to pay us is increasing. So we're going to talk about just what this means in today's world and the changing environment, and how as a home services company we can look at changing some little things to see big results.
Well said, Jim. And we'll go ahead and jump right into it. We have multiple reasons, kind of in this newer world that we kind of navigate each day, as to why there are still expectations for free estimates. So we'll sort of outline these, and then we'll have some responses and even some solutions for you. So this first point is the fact that we've always done it this way, but that's how we've always done it. So as a business, we, especially in the trades, we get used to our certain processes, right? We're very resistant to change. I think a lot of human beings are, but especially in the business sense, if something works, or even if it starts to not work as well, we stick to it because it's what we all know. We've always done it that way. We've always done free estimates in a lot of trades. In my dad's painting industry, he's always given free estimates. He just writes it on a piece of paper. He goes to the house, gives them the estimate, lets them know what it's going to be, right? So that's what customers have started to expect in many industries, especially repeat customers, because if they've had it done once for free, they're going to expect it to be free again. So what are some responses to this, Jim, that we can apply to our own businesses and the companies that we run day to day?
Great point, Caleb. So the question is, that's how we've always done it. So first of all, what comes to mind is that consumers are changing and their expectations are changing. We don't always change with them, particularly in our industry, because we are typically a little more old-fashioned, a little more traditional, a little more conservative, I'd say, as a whole. The point of your dad still driving around and doing it. My first question to him would be, how much time does he spend going around doing these when he could be actually painting houses? How much time is spent in his car?
That's a fair point, Jim. Probably, I mean, at least a couple hours every summer are spent driving around specifically. The estimates are typically fairly short, but then he's trying to make a relationship typically with whoever it is that he's going to be painting for. So that helps to be in the home, and then, that's how he sees it, I'm sure, is he can introduce himself, his personality to the person and sort of sell himself.
Absolutely. And we're going to talk about that actually a little bit further in the episode too. But you're right. I've met your father. He's great relationship builder. It's there. But many times people just want to know an estimate to decide whether they even want to afford it, or that maybe they're just curious, right? Or maybe they're selling the house and they just need to know in order to give a number, which really is unintentionally a waste of your father's time. So we're going to talk about some of that stuff. And with that being said, consumers are changing. And our expectations are changing. Let's talk about the consumer. Let's not talk about how all the other painters or all the other glass shops do it. Let's talk about right now. Just because we've always done it doesn't mean that customers are still expecting it to be the same way it always has been. I'm going to use the example of pizza delivery, right? We used to, about just 5 years ago, it was about half and half between restaurants who would just do free delivery, right? And then you could pay them when they get to the door, okay? That was like, and then I wonder how many times people just weren't there, or they didn't show up, or they ordered the wrong pizza, right? And so the pizza industry obviously turned around and they make it easy for you to get your pricing online, you get a good presentation of what you can have, and you pay for it, and then the pizza delivers. Now, that has nothing to do with home services. I wouldn't even say that. But what it shows is 5 or 10 years ago, I wouldn't have thought I'd just click my phone and pay for my pizza. I was like, no, you always can order the pizza. You just give them cash when they show up. I mean, I never considered that that would even ever need to change. But then they started to do it, and now that's just what we expect. So, as we're seeing in the home services industry, people are willing to change. And we're going to talk about that. The second part is that qualified tradesmen and women are not as prevalent as they used to be. When my uncle and father started their glass company in the late 90s, it was significantly easier for us to find good technicians and good estimators and people like your father who give good presentations. So not only are customers not necessarily needing us to just come for free and just give up 30 minutes of our time, we literally can't afford some of our best people to give up that time just to give a price that could be articulated other ways. So now I know those are two responses that are a little bit generic as to change, but just because we've always done it doesn't work in any business model. That's just the truth. We have to change. We have to change or die. The world is changing in front of us on how people consume. So let's talk about some solutions. Okay, so you're asking yourself, I'm like Caleb's dad. I'm still doing this. Okay, I understand, Jim. Things are changing. What are some solutions I can do? Well, we are seeing a huge influx in paid in-home consultations. Okay, or paid on-site diagnostics. What that means is you just come to the customer and say, we are happy to come to your home. We'll spend the 30 minutes, the hour sometimes. We'll drive there. We'll cover the fuel. If you can just cover the basics like $19 or $30, we'll apply that towards the job. That way you're valuing your time, you're giving them that estimate that they want, and they're covering just your basic costs. At first, I know a lot of you are thinking, oh, I don't think that my customers would ever really want to do that. And I'm going to tell you, if you value yourself, which we can talk about later, if you value your business, if you value your time, most customers see that as, oh, this is professional. So he's a professional, of course, right? And that's one of the key solutions to this problem that we've seen. And further, some of the more advanced home services businesses, some of our winners from previous episodes, some of our winners, they actually take it a step further. They say if you want a free estimate, you can use one of our online estimating tools, such as Responsibid, BidClips. Some people use just a really nice email template. You can quote things, and we'll get you a free estimate. That way we don't have to necessarily get there. We don't have to go there. We don't have to COVID up. We don't have to protect ourselves. We can take care of you. So that's an easy solution to changing the way you do it. And if you deliver it with confidence, most customers we've seen have said, sure, I'll pay you. Let's get you out here. We'll take a look at it. I understand that it's a very inexpensive number to get some answers we're looking for. And some customers say, hey, we'll happily send you pictures and details, and you can get us an estimate online.
What about industries where their competitors do it, right? That's a big talking point is our competitors, our closest competitors, the ones that we pay attention to their pricing and how they're doing every day compared to us. Maybe we call them and we price shop them to see how we stack up. They're still giving free estimates. So that is certainly a scary thing for a lot of businesses is trying to break away from that while their biggest competitors are still offering that service.
Great point. I think this is the scariest part for most of us. And often we catch ourselves watching competitors. Okay, that's like wanting to suck less than the next guy. If you're spending your whole time just kind of watching the other shops, are we doing that, or are we watching what customers desire and what they're actually wanting? Because if your competitors are also doing it the same old way, then you're actually not looking at the new trends of how customers and how the world is changing around us. So here's my immediate response. Let them do free estimates. Let them go do them all. And at first, a lot of you are like, well, then they're going to get all that work. Not necessarily, because oftentimes I've found that free customers, can just focus on the price point. They aren't necessarily that committed. They didn't really believe in the company as they got there. And we know that customers are going to buy from people they know, like, and trust. So this will help automatically filter the customers that are calling you because you have a great web presence. They've heard a good referral from a friend. They've seen your online presentation. They've talked to you on the phone. They like you. A small $19 deposit that goes towards the job, That's a great qualifier from oftentimes customers that you didn't want anyways. The customers that are going to want everything free through the process. So this is very bold, but we're seeing so many pro companies taking a good stance to say, you get what you pay for, and also free isn't always free. So we want to give you a consultation. We want to treat you well. We don't want to just get in there for free and then switch it and throw some big high price on you or something. So I would say it's all about how you approach your customers' wants. And I'll tell you a quick little side here, Caleb. I was at a hotel, and this lady I was telling her what we do for a career, and she said it great. She said, I live in Colorado. I live in one of the nice spots of Denver. And I can't even get anyone to answer their phone, and then the few that do say they'll kind of come out for free. She said, I mean, $19-20 is what I spent calling around to try to get help. Because I asked her flat out, I said, would you be more inclined to pay an on-site diagnostic or an in-home consultation with a company that you had a good encounter with, or try to go free with someone who didn't pick up their phone twice? And she said it very clearly. She said, I will pay for professionalism. That's the customer that I want as a client. Some of our customers, our clients, Caleb, and bid clips, some of them charge upwards of $150. Some charge as small as $19. It doesn't mean you have to charge a lot of money. You can just do in-home consultations.
Great points, Jim. Excellent. And even further than that, as far as free estimates go, even if we're charging that $19 down or that $35 OSD charge, that becomes free eventually because the cost that to the customer applies to the final amount, right? So it never feels to the customer that chooses to go through with it, especially in my dad's case, right? If he's going out there, he's spending the time, he's valuing his time, he gets something back for that, and then once the job is booked, it's like it was free in the first place.
Correct. And being able to articulate that to customers quickly makes that a decision of, am I committed to this man's time or this woman's time, or not? And then back to, like I said, the free, being able to offer different alternatives, which we'll talk about on the next objection. To be able to offer some alternatives makes it even easier. You should still offer free without having to drive across town, pay the fuel, and more importantly, be missing hours you could be painting homes.
All right, let's pivot into this next point, which is this idea that we can offer a better presentation in the field. So this goes hand in hand with what I already talked about with my dad has a painting service that he runs in the summer. Typically, it's only via word of mouth, but it's every summer he has about 5 or 6 jobs. He'll go out to the home, he'll introduce himself, he'll talk face to face. It's an opportunity to sell the job face to face, sell his personality. If the right person gives a great presentation, that idea that we put the right person in the home at the right time, and that's a way to really close the job. Um, Maybe customers prefer a different kind of estimate experience than one that we're offering or one that they've even had before. So, can you speak to this a little bit for me, Jim?
Of course, I've been in this business a long time, and I was an in-home estimator for over 10 years. I love it. It's my passion. And I would never argue with someone that the right person in the right home at the right time is by far probably the greatest estimate or presentation of your service. But here's what I found as the truth. I'm a very positive guy, as you know. I'm upbeat. I have bad days. Okay. I have days where I'm frustrated at the technicians. I'm frustrated at my team. I'm frustrated at the vendor. And there's sometimes that I don't give my best presentation. Plus, it's hard to give 8 perfectly executed presentations in a day while you're driving around. And so people are human. My second point is that if you are going to send, oftentimes the estimator, the owner of the company, usually our presenters, our salespeople are our valued people. Customers I found, they're willing to pay for that experience, especially if you tell them that, hey, the owner of the company will come to your home himself. For that $19, you get everything answered. If you don't feel comfortable with technology or you don't feel comfortable with remote estimates or virtual estimates, we will send the right person. But that has a value to it. But finally, and probably the most important part, is that even though I care deeply about the service, I sometimes get caught up in maybe the price or the solution of the job, and I forget to tell people the story of my company. I forget to tell them why they can trust us, why they can like us, why they can know us. That's what we found from study upon study. Customers are more interested in the safety of their home, the quality of the job, than they are the price point and the details. Now, they want a good price. You have to be valued well. But how many times do we actually present that well in the field? And it's always better, I believe, to have it presented in like Google reviews, repeat customer testimonials, little commercials about your company, things where customers can see a lot more than just that owner. Because oftentimes it's not the owner or the estimator that's going to be there for the whole job. So it's good for them to see more about the whole company. So that's where, again, the solution is just a better presentation. Now, whether that's in the field, if you're not using a Jobber, a Service Titan, or a program that can allow you to present better in the field, not only the estimate and the scope of work, but who the company is, shoe covers, etc., safety, insured, bonded. You use a company like BidClips, right? Or Responsibid, create a better online estimate as well for customers. So then they can see an actual little video testimonial about your business, maybe a former customer. They can see a lot more than they can in person. And the other nice thing about using technology to leverage our services is technology never gets tired, Caleb. It doesn't have a bad day. Meaning, once you put together a really solid online estimate, it will be the same estimate all the time. Everyone gets that encounter. Like, I never go to Amazon.com and get a bad customer service rep because it's always pictures, reviews. I can click on it, I can see it, it educates me, tells me about everything, right? The consistency is what builds great business. So if you don't have a consistent presentation and you don't have those other tools, please reach out and find those. I'll also tell you, if you're a brand new business, you do need to be getting into people's homes. Maybe you do still do free estimates to get your feet on the ground. But I certainly encourage all of us to use tools so that it actually gives your best shot, your best presentation every time to a customer. And with modern tools like BidClips, that's not as hard to do as it was just 10 years ago.
How often, really, in my job day to day, do I come upon with my sales team? We get so hung up on this price, right? The price is the thing that they think matters to everybody over everything else. So we'll give a price in a phone call and then pause after it. So there's this big period where it's like, how are they going to react to this, right? How am I setting it up? When in reality, we always have better experiences as salespeople if we just give the price and then outline after it what the value is, what you're getting with that.
Yeah, a price is only as good as the thing you're paying for. Hear that, everybody. The price is only as good as what you're paying for. If I say to you, what's $1,000, Caleb? You're like, well, what am I buying, right? Oh, a heart surgery. That's a great deal. Uh, a windshield on a common truck, terrible deal, right? And so if we're not presenting our value, we're not presenting what we are as a company, then yes, your price doesn't matter to people. And I'm gonna be hard pressed to find estimators who deliver their company's value. And the other part of it is that a lot of the best service workers out there, a lot of you listening, you're so good at service because you're humble and you're quiet and you do a good job. So it's not always natural to talk about how great you are, right? And that's so if you have a presentation in your estimate that tells our customers, shows them your site, shows them other customers that were happy with you, it's a little less arrogant. It's humble and it's a lot nicer of a presentation. Really good point, Caleb. And then the third solution that I want to bring up is virtual tours, right? Use Zoom. A lot of companies are using FaceTime. Offer the ability for customers to show you what's going on. And then you're able to present an estimate. And even if you use that tool to just have them show you around the house, use a tool like BidClips or Jobber or ServiceTitan and send them a really powerful estimate. And just make sure that you're not assuming, hear me on this, that you're not assuming they're going to go see your website. A lot of times I hear my clients say, well, they'll just look at my website. No, they won't. When you need service on your home, they're going to dial. They're going to call you, and then they're going to give you the info, or you can get the info from them. Then they're going to want it sent to them, the pro estimate. So when the estimate comes, don't assume they're going to keep clicking around to search. Make it right in front of them right away. Great point, Caleb, on the price discussion. I think that's a huge block to changing the way that we do estimates. And then lastly, like I said, if you have all of this put together, you don't need to be giving free estimates. You don't need to be wasting your time as much anymore. And you might find, like so many of our winning companies have found, customers are more than willing to pay you a deposit to have you come to their home. But even more importantly, most customers are even more than willing to send you some pictures and videos and work with you to get you what you need so that you can get them a professional estimate done right the first time.
And I see that day to day with bid clips. I mean, obviously they're our sponsor, so we like to address it as much as possible. But as far as my life goes, bid clips has made the auto glass sales industry and flat glass even so much easier. There's this expectation now. We always take $19 down payments on every auto glass job we book because it just makes such a huge difference in terms of making sure that customers actually show up for their appointments. How many times did I lose jobs because somebody didn't show up, right? Something changes, and they have no skin in the game if there's no payment option. It's all free. They can show up or not as at their leisure. So that really has changed the way customers have behaved, I think, that we've seen. Not only those down payments, but just the ease of which customers can pay, right? They they put in a credit card number. A lot of customers ask us now if they can pay everything right up front, right? I mean, can I just get the whole thing out of the way? I have my credit card right here. Can you take all the information? So they don't have to think about it again.
Exactly. Also visually, Caleb, what's been fascinating about big clips is on that side is people love the pictures. They love to see what they're paying for. They like to see a before and after. They like to see a diagram of a shower enclosure. They like to see reviews. They like to be able to click and watch things. We're a visual society. So if your estimates right now are just written, with just line by line, and it doesn't connect, then that sometimes has to do the selling, especially if it's a contractor, a property manager, maybe a landlord. Your estimate needs to sell itself. And so, if you don't know about big clips, if you don't know some of these technologies that are making this very easy with templates and everything, you don't have to do it every time. You literally click and go. I hear my clients sometimes say, well, I would write a great email. I just don't have the time 30 times a day. And I said, well, with big clips, you don't have to do that. You write it once, it's always there. You just hit send. So I think that these are all incredible points for as we're looking at how are we going to do estimates, how are we going to win people's business. And for a lot of you listening saying, well, I don't need to win business. I have just repeat customers. I'm a great shop. I agree. But those repeat customers, even more importantly, need to be reminded of the service you're going to give them every time. So you're constantly winning their trust every day in every way to continue to build that business. So I would actually say it's even more important for people that trust you to keep seeing you improving and growing and delivering what you say you're going to do is what the estimate is. This is saying what you're going to do. So show them, deliver, take their money. They're willing to pay you. The more they like you and trust you, the more they're willing to pay. Make this easy on your business. And I want to see how a lot of you improve this year on how much time you're driving around for free. Go calculate how much time you sit in your car driving around to estimates, putting it together, sitting at your computer late at night. Let's make that faster. Great episode today, Caleb. This is all powered by bid clips. We're not here to sell you bid clips. If it fits for your business, great. Go pop out, take a tour. But we're here to help you build your business, grow your presentations, enhance your customer service, and let's watch the services industry grow into 2021. Proud to have you on the show, Caleb. Thank you for
Thanks,
being
Jim.
here.
It was fun.
Yeah, and for the rest of you, we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. This is Today in Trades with Jim Evans and Caleb Shortsma.